What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Monday episode of Flippin Bats, where, man, oh man, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend, and we're going to talk all about it. We got Overreaction Monday. Will the Yankees finish under 500 for the first time since 1992? The Seattle Mariners, they are charging hard. Will they get into the playoffs? We'll also talk about Justin's first start back in Houston on the mound there at Minute Maid Park against the Angels and Shohei Ohtani. By the way, speaking of Shohei, missing his start this week on the mound, we'll talk about that and if that is cause for concern. It's also Monday, which means Mondays with Mom, which she had a great one this week. Team of the week, player of the week, power rankings, the new and improved power rankings. This one, there's a lot to talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get to it.
Fly ball onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment. Happy Monday, my friends. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm joined, as always, by Alex Curry, who I am sure had a great weekend. Alex, what did you do this weekend?
You know what? I'm proud of myself. I turned down a bunch of things this weekend, and I hibernated for like 12 hours on Saturday night, which was glorious.
Wow.
I did go to the birthday parties. I did not go to 2 concerts that I was invited to. So
wow.
I know.
What a tough.
I felt good. I felt proud of me. I was tired and I listened to my body, which was great.
Wow, that's great.
I saw you were playing pool. I didn't get an invite.
Oh, I didn't really do. Well, yeah. Went to play some pool. Didn't do a lot this weekend, though. Watched a lot of baseball. No golf this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, good.
You know what's something really cool we did before?
Yes.
Kind of to kick off the weekend.
We mentioned this was coming, and we went to do it.
Oh, we have a billboard at the Bad News Bears Park just down the street that has a giant bullseye on it that says, "Hit me." So we went to the Little League Park and took some batting practice to try and hit the billboard. And it was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. I think it was one of the episodes last week. We literally left the studio to go over there and try and hit the billboard. We did just that. We left. We went over there. It's about 10 minutes from where we are currently, the Bad News Bears field. And one interesting fact about all this here, if you're watching, you can see the video. The sign that says "hit it here" or "hit me," whatever it says, the bullseye. Yeah. There's a really tall fence in right field. It says "hit this sign."
Yeah.
There's a really tall fence in right field, which you learned it's really tall because the 405, which might be the busiest highway in the entire world, is directly over the fence. So we get there, and shout out to the entire Little League for one, making this happen and getting us out there and putting this billboard up. But I was talking to Mark and Jeff, who are help out at the Little League out there, and they said, "Hey, just please try not to hit it onto the 405.
Don't hit it over the sign.
Don't hit it over that fence there." And in my head, it's like that the bullseye is 3 feet from the top of the fence.
Yeah.
And it's 200 some feet. What do you think I can do? Just like, if I try and hit that sign, there's a chance it's going to go over, but I will err on missing it under. So, Alex, I was pretty proud of myself.
I mean, you did hit it over.
Twice. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yep.
But I
and
also
then at the very
did hit it.
the very last swing of the day, you hit directly in the middle of the bullseye.
Yeah.
It was rad.
I was playing pepper all around that bullseye, and then had one swing left because the swing prior I hit it over.
Yep.
And I was told, Ben, you have one more. Stop hitting, please. And I did it on the last one.
It was so cool. Another really, I learned, fun fact about this park after I posted the video. So my family's born and raised Los Angeles. My mom grew up in Beverly Hills. My dad grew up in West LA and Mar Vista. I grew up in Manhattan Beach. And after I posted this video, my mom's like, "That's the Little League field that I used to go and score games at." So my mom used to go and score all the games when she was in 7th and 8th grade and just hang out at that Little League field. So I was like, cool. More Bad News Bears connections here.
It was cool. It was a great experience, and still got it, you know?
Yeah.
Still got it.
It's a Little League field.
Well, I mean, you hitting a bullseye 225 feet away, small bullseye. You think that's
I'll
easy?
give it to you. Yeah.
It's not easy.
I know. You know who else still got it?
Who?
Your brother making his re-debut back in Houston.
I'm disappointed I didn't see that coming. He did, yes.
He did.
That was part of my weekend. Well, I guess it was Friday.
Yeah.
So we recorded. We haven't done an episode since he pitched on Friday. First start back in Houston, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Got the win on the mound. It was nice. The offense put up a ton of runs for him. They had a video played when he came back. The crowd was huge. It was his 500th start.
That's cool.
Of his career on the mound, which is really cool because going into it, he had 250 wins. That was his 251st win. Obviously, a ton of no decisions mixed in. So it's not like it was 250 and 250 going in. But yeah, he had 250 wins. He had just gotten that, his 500th start of his career, and then his re-debut at Minute Maid Park. And it went really well. Good start back there. So cool weekend. A lot happened in the baseball world, though, besides us hitting billboards and Justin pitching. Yeah,
but he was also facing your favorite player of all time who's not your brother. So how are you in those moments? Are you well? Are you unwell? Are you unhinged?
I am. Well, you know this. I am unwell when he pitches in general.
I know.
So then I just feel like there's a lot more on the line when it's against Shohei. 1, because he's a really good hitter, but 2, just like what it means for me and how many people will just like, if Shohei were to hit a home run off Justin, it would be like all over the place and on social media. So it just feels like, not because of other people, it's just a big at bat, you know, like I really like Shohei. He's my favorite player and like one of my favorite players in the game, one of my favorite players of all time. I say one of, because I typically answer who's my favorite player. I answer Chipper Jones and Al Kaline.
Okay.
But like, you get what I'm saying.
You're allowed to have new.
I have a lot of favorite players. Shohei is one of them. So that matchup is just like everybody looks to me. It's like, oh, it's your brother against your guy. My mentions that day are just full of like
blowing up
Ben and Shohei stuff.
Which is why you didn't text me back when your brother was pitching?
Yes, my phone wasn't working. My phone was dead. You'll believe that one. My phone's always dead.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching right now, there's actually a video behind us of Ben at the bar with his phone plugged in because it is always dead and he is always on empty.
Phone and computer always struggling, but yes.
I'll believe that like 60%.
If you're watching, there is the video of this is an at bat. Justin actually ended up striking out Shohei this at bat, but you can just see how unwell I get during games, and it's but yeah, Shohei ended up with a single. Justin got the best of him 2 times. It was good. It was all good. Got the win on the mound. It was good.
And that is not an overreaction. But let's get into our first segment here on Monday's Overreaction Monday. I'm going to give a statement, and Ben's going to tell me if it's an overreaction or not. So let's get started with our first one, which is the Braves will finish with the best record in Major League Baseball.
Look, the Braves are easily the best team in baseball right now, and they're only getting healthier. So I will say, yes, they do finish with the best record in Major League Baseball. I know the Orioles are the second closest. I believe they're about 3 games behind them overall. But I just don't see the Braves. The Braves are the best team in baseball. Offensively, we've talked about it a ton. 1 through 9, their 9-hole hitter was an all-star. I mean, 1 through 9, it is by far the deepest lineup in baseball. And then you can talk about their pitching, where they just continue to get healthier. So they didn't do a ton at the trade deadline because they didn't need to do a ton at the trade deadline, right? They basically they're basically adding arms without having to trade away talent. So I just think, pitching-wise, yes, they're going to be fine. Max Fried comes back. He was great in his first start back against the Cubs. But then offensively is where this team is just, I don't think anybody else right now can compare. I mean, like I said, the number 9 hitter, Arcia was an all-star. And then you start talking about their home run totals. And entering the new week, or entering Sunday, the Braves are 25 homers away from the franchise record that they set in 2019. And there's still 47 games to go.
They're going to crush that record.
They're going to break the all-time MLB record, which was set by the Minnesota Twins. They're on pace to hit 316 home runs as a team. They're 75-41. As you know, we record during Sunday Night Baseball. They're currently losing to the Mets right now in the 7th inning. But I just don't see a world what Matt Olson is doing. He took over the league lead in home runs. He's at 42 homers. He leading all of baseball there. He's got over 100 RBIs already. I mean, I don't see a way in which another team finishes with a better record than the Atlanta Braves. I just don't.
I don't either. And the other great thing is, as you mentioned, I mean, every single piece of this team is great. Top to bottom in the lineup, starting rotation, bullpen doing great. I mean, just seeing what they did to the Mets on Saturday in those doubleheader games, winning 21-3 and then 6-0. I mean, they absolutely crushed New York. Absolutely crushed.
And nobody's talking about the biggest trade deadline acquisition of the entire league. Nobody's talking about him, which is Nicky Lopez. My friend, Nicky Lopez, going from the Royals to the Braves and having one of the best games anybody's had all season long this year. Best trade deadline pickup. Not Max Scherzer, not Justin Verlander. It was Nicky Lopez for the Atlanta Braves, because in his first game starting for the Atlanta Braves, he had 4 hits, 5 RBIs, an upper deck home run in the 9th inning. And then after he hit that homer in the 9th, he went out and pitched the 9th inning for the Braves, a scoreless 9th inning. So get this. Only players this season with 5 RBIs in a game and a scoreless inning pitched: Shohei Ohtani and Nicky Lopez.
That is epic.
What can you can't argue with. I tweeted this. I am now friends with the 2 greatest two-way players in the sport. American League, Shohei Ohtani; National League, Nicky Lopez. This is huge for me.
It is huge for you. I'm proud.
I am pumped for Nicky, because, just one, being out there with the Royals this year can't be easy, being on that team that is not winning many ball games. And he just, like we've talked about it with other players, you get moved and it's almost like a resurgence, right? It's like, wow, I'm getting this opportunity to play on a really good team. So, and then he comes out and does that. It was awesome.
I mean, he also went from one of the worst teams in the league to the greatest team in the league. I mean, talk about a glow up.
And became the greatest player in the National League as a result.
I'll give that
Nicky Lopez. Shout out Nicky Lopez.
Not an overreaction.
Not an overreaction.
Let's get to our next Overreaction Monday. The Yankees will finish under 500 for the first time since 1992.
No, the Yankees won't finish with a losing record. But since when did the 500 mark become the benchmark for the New York Yankees? Right? I mean, the baseline for the Yankees used to be World Series or bust.
Yeah.
And now for the last, decade plus, it just feels like that's not the case. And then we watched the ALCS last year where they get swept by the Astros, and the GM, Brian Cashman, comes out and says, well, hey guys, we were 4 games away from the World Series. Let's talk about this a little better than we are.
What a spin. Like, can we just acknowledge that? That was one of the most epic spins someone has ever made.
What? I actually love it.
You have to respect
Spin zone.
Yep.
We were 4 games from the World Series. What are you going to say now?
There's no lie.
There's no lie. No lie was told.
You didn't get swept. You get swept, but you were 4 games away.
It was an
ultimate spin.
I love me a good spin zone. Yeah. And that was an ultimate spin zone. But seriously, this used to be in the 90s, back in the day, in the 90s.
World Series or bust.
It was World Series or bust. And they were either winning World Series or getting to World Series. And now it feels like things are changing with this Yankees team. And it feels like that's coming from the top with Hal Steinbrenner instead of George Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman. I almost feel like he's in a position now where we're seeing, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I almost feel like Brian Cashman is now getting exposed because he doesn't have the wallet of George Steinbrenner. Not that Hal Steinbrenner doesn't have that same wallet. He's just clearly not as willing to spend as George was. It's sort of like the Tigers situation with Mr. Mike Ilitch compared to Chris Ilitch. Like, same wallet, same family, just maybe a little different mentality on how the business aspect is working. And I feel like that's what's going on with the Yankees. And then an article came out recently that Andy Martino, who writes about the Yankees and the Mets for SNY came out that I want to address, where he said Brian Cashman, this is paraphrasing, Brian Cashman shouldn't be fired because he's had 25 straight winning seasons. Again, a lot of those at the beginning were George Steinbrenner or coming out of the George Steinbrenner era. We're no longer in that era. We're in the Hal Steinbrenner era. And I just feel like it's not going as well and something needs to be changed here. I mean, let's take a serious look at the Yankees' recent acquisitions, right? This is, in my opinion, this is where the GM has the biggest say. In those trade deadline, free agent acquisitions, what are you going to do? Who are you going to bring in to help the team? Let's really talk about that. The big one last offseason, not including Aaron Judge because he was on the team and they knew all of the. I'm going to exclude Aaron Judge from this. Carlos Rodon, hurt. The year prior at the deadline, Andrew Benintendi, hurt. Harrison Bader got hurt. Frankie Montas, hurt and still hurt. Lou Trevino, hurt. Scott Efros, hurt. The names go on and on and on, going even further back. Matt Carpenter, hurt. Josh Donaldson, hurt. What is the evaluation process for Brian Cashman and this New York Yankees team? The free agents that you're bringing in are not working. When I grew up in the 90s, the free agents or the trades that the Yankees would have made, let's go back to last year, when the Yankees ended up trading for Frankie Montas. You know who the number one pitcher at the trade deadline was that year? Luis Castillo. But the Yankees went for that next best option, and that didn't work out. And obviously an injury came in play there, and all of that really fell apart. But the point being, the Yankees that I grew up with, go get Luis Castillo and sign him long-term, and then have Luis Castillo, who's dominating in the rotation, but they went for that next best option. This isn't the Yankees that I grew up watching. It's not. And they are flirting around. They're around the 500 mark this year. Do I think they end up below 500 with a losing season? No, I do not. But the theme here with the Yankees is just that from the top down, I don't think it's being run the same way that it was 20 years ago. I know it wasn't. And I think that's what's hurting this Yankees team.
So, honest opinion, do you think the Yankees should replace Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone?
I think Brian Cashman, in my honest opinion, needs to go. And I think Aaron Boone, as a result, I think that would follow. I've gone from thinking Aaron Boone needs to go to feeling bad for Aaron Boone for being a punching bag for the organization's wrongdoings and inability to make moves.
I like you feel bad for him now, though.
I do. I mean, the team does nothing at the trade deadline. Nothing. They didn't buy. They didn't sell. Either way would have been good. Look at what the Mets did, right? They sold. They went for it. They sold. Look, the Yankees had two options. They could have either gone for it or sold, but they did nothing. And Aaron Boone got marched out there to all of the media and was asked to speak on that and speak about the team doing nothing. Well, it's not Aaron Boone's decision.
It's not.
It's Brian Cashman's.
Yeah.
And Hal Steinbrenner's.
Is this the moment that changed your mind?
I did love the ejection.
His meme,
I loved the ejection.
His meme moment ejection.
Yeah. Look, who am I to judge him as a manager? I think he's ultimately gone. I think Brian Cashman needs to be the one. And I don't know if it's going to happen, but I've seen enough.
Yeah.
Let's talk trade deadline acquisitions. Let's talk free agent acquisitions and really have a discussion about how good the Yankees have been with their evaluation process over the last 10, 20 years. Like really, maybe not 20, but the last decade. Have they hit? Sure. Have they missed? They've missed more often than they've hit. And that's the problem for the Yankees.
It is. All right. Let's move on to our next overreaction. The Mariners will grab the final wild card spot from the Blue Jays.
I do believe the Mariners will make the playoffs this year.
Okay.
They are one of the hottest teams in baseball, perhaps the hottest team in the American League. Them and the Rangers have probably been the two of the hottest teams since the All-Star break, really. The Mariners have been fantastic. And you know, you look back at July 31st. On that date, the Mariners were 39-42, 6 games behind a playoff spot. Then they have a great July, come out of the All-Star break, and they go on a tear. They win those 8 games in a row. They get back in it. They're over 500. They climb within a half a game of a wild card spot. If you want to be completely truthful, they tied it up in the wild card race before they ended up losing Saturday night to go back down to a half game and then lose on Sunday as well. But a very good series there. Alex, Matt Olson literally just absolutely murdered his 43rd home run of the year. Wow.
He is on fire. Look at that.
Side note. Yeah. Wow. So I do think they're hot enough currently to get in, and I think it's going to be because of their pitching. Luis Castillo, ace of the staff, Logan Gilbert, and probably the most underrated this season. The pitcher having one of the most underrated seasons is George Kirby, who has a 3.11 ERA on the season, 3 dominant starts in a row now. The rotation is doing their part. The offense is doing enough. They were, again, soft sellers at the deadline.
Yep.
They weren't buyers, but this team decided to say, hey, we are going to go win. And when they are, I think they can get in. Now, will it be over the Jays, which was the question here, the overreaction? Maybe. Mm-hmm. I think it could also be over the Tampa Bay Rays.
Ooh.
The Rays are, again, for the last few months now, have been playing about 500 baseball.
5-5 in the last 10.
So they have a healthy lead in the wild card, but things are kind of falling apart down there with the Shane McClanahan stuff. And I'm not going to speak on it. Look it up if Wander Franco stuff going on. There's just a lot going on.
Bad.
And it's not good vibes down there in Tampa right now.
No.
So it could be the Jays. It could be the Rays. I do think either the Astros or Rangers will for sure have one of those spots.
I do too.
But I think the Mariners could get in over either the Jays or Rays.
Which is crazy because we were talking about the AL East in the beginning of the year being like the craziest, hottest division. And now it might be the AL West who's like creeping to get into that wild card spot.
Yeah.
Two of the 3. All right. Let's move on to our next Overreaction Monday. Speaking of the AL West, the Angels should be highly concerned about Shohei Ohtani skipping his start.
The Angels should be highly concerned, but it ain't about Shohei and making his start. They should be highly concerned about their standings in this season. But Shohei is going to miss his scheduled start this week. He went to Phil Nevin and basically said, hey, I'm tired. I need a day. And I'm sure, and I would hope and pray that the reaction was, yeah, you do need a day, buddy. The fact that you are standing in front of me in one piece, I'm grateful for. Yes, thank you for coming to me. You certainly take as much time as you need. I actually imagine Shohei will DH in that game. He just wants the days. Arm fatigue is what he said. So no, they should not be worried about Shohei Ohtani. This is apparently, as it came out, not injury related. It feels like for the last few months, let's say, maybe not a few months, last month or so, every start he goes out there, you're just worried, is he going to be able to get through this? So some sort of finger issue arises, a fingernail issue, a blister, a hand cramp. There's just a lot going on. He's obviously exhausted, and he should be. No other human being on the planet, I think, would be able to be in one piece at this point. So I'm not concerned about it at all. He definitely needs a day. If the Angels can't get into the playoffs because Shohei Ohtani took one day that he couldn't pitch or decided to miss a start, then they have way more issues than just him.
We know that.
Taking a day. Exactly. That's my point. This ain't the problem.
No. It's not.
And it's not a problem at all.
No.
More power to you. Take your day.
Yep.
Kick your feet up. I'm sure you're still going to hit a homer.
Yes, he will.
But kick your feet up. Eat some bananas to prevent the cramping and go out there and hit some homers.
I'm just like, it's about damn time, Ohtani. You've needed a break. Thank you for finally taking one, okay?
Yep.
All right, we got one more Overreaction Monday, our final one. This was the best weekend of MLB ceremonies ever.
It was awesome. We had a Felix Hernandez ceremony. We had a Fernando Valenzuela ceremony. We had a Jose Bautista ceremony, and they were all great. Let's start with the Felix Hernandez one.
Okay.
King Felix out there in Seattle. They did it up right. He came out from where they did the All-Star celebrations out in right field. Came out from right center field, the smoke going up. It was just an awesome ceremony for him and everybody there. And they surprised him, or he was surprised, like his throne, the King Felix throne. They surprised him with Adrian Beltre came. And obviously they're really, really good friends. And as he walked out, they shared a really awesome embrace, and King Felix was in tears.
Yeah.
It was just a really, really cool ceremony for a guy that had one of the greatest careers as a pitcher in my lifetime. I mean, when that guy was on, he was on, and he was one of the most dominant pitchers in the game. A fantastic career. But Alex, after this is great. They were playing the Orioles.
Yeah.
Who their closer's name is Felix Bautista. And, I think it's sort of a little like, hey, it might be to get under people's skin sometimes, but the Orioles fans and I think it happened like once or twice, but Felix Bautista got the save, and people are saying, King Felix got the save. And the reaction, we're going to play this in a second, but the reaction from the Mariners like broadcasters after the game is comical. I thought they were going to cry. I really did. I did. So let's listen to the Mariners broadcasters here talk about the King Felix situation.
Baseball analyst Ryan Roland Smith. I just hope the Orioles don't like tweet out in the social media, say, King Felix gets the win today against the Mariners, and don't
give me any ideas. Come on.
We have the real king.
That's right.
And it is our King Felix, and we'll have more on the king as he got his crown, Hall of Fame crown.
It's a nickname, you guys. It's a nickname.
We have the real king.
He's our king.
He's our king.
He's our King Felix.
I mean,
you guys,
come on, guys.
I hope they're not putting it out on the social medias.
I mean, come on. It was, Felix Bautista's out there throwing 102. He got the win in that game.
Yeah.
And they just like, of course, when the baseball world thinks King Felix, it's Felix Hernandez.
100%.
So like, it was just like, look.
Yep.
Yeah. It sounded like.
It sounded like
guys.
they were
sad.
on the verge of tears.
They were, definitely. But that was an awesome one. Fernando Valenzuela with Dodgers was really cool as well. There's a mariachi band, which was great.
Rad.
Who doesn't love a good mariachi band?
I love Dodger Stadium has like a house mariachi band that plays in between innings that I just absolutely love.
Yeah, I mean the one, he's a pitcher he's a Mexican, the word's here, Mexican legend. So to do it with a mariachi band, obviously the heritage around here at Dodger Stadium, the history in Los Angeles, like Fernando Valenzuela being a Mexican pitcher in LA, I think just added to the legend that he is. And to have the mariachi band following him out there, the beautiful ceremony, the tears were a theme over the weekend with these ceremonies. And the Dodgers did that one right. That was awesome. And then lastly, another one, Jose Bautista. I love Jose Bautista because he kind of got the bat flip era going with one of the most epic bat flips you'll ever see. It was a bat chuck, if you will. And he had his ceremony, tears flowing there as well. So yeah, absolutely. Greatest baseball ceremony weekend that we have ever gotten. He had a video play on the board, a heartfelt message from family, some past Blue Jays, current Blue Jays fans. It was really cool.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love celebrations, like any kind of like happy celebration. So seeing just legendary players take a moment, because I think these are the moments where they finally get to realize how cool it was what they did. Like, not often do you get to take a step back, and not when you're playing. It's not often while you're playing, and it's after to have these moments to feel the appreciation and really reflect on the impact that you had on the game that you love. So I love all of this.
Yep.
Are you getting your phone ready for Mondays with Mom?
It's Mondays with Mom time.
Okay. I was like, are you tweeting? Like, what's happening right now?
I'm just texting while you're talking.
I'm
just
texting. I was looking over. I was like, he's just looking down at his phone.
Just texting my pals.
Okay. It's Mondays with Mom. What did
Mondays with Mom.
What did Mama Verlander say this week?
Came about because my mom is always listening to the show or watching baseball and sending me just great texts that I think the world needs to hear about. And this week, she did not let me down. So, Mondays with Mom this week. She texted me on Tuesday after listening to an episode and said, "Love the passion you have on air. However, you might want to watch your language a little bit. Lots of expletives lately. LOL. Kids are listening," with 3 ear emojis.
I love this so much because I think I'm condition just from being on broadcast TV
You
for over
just
a decade.
said the D word. I will no longer be cussing anymore. You're the one with the bad language
What did
here.
I say?
You said damn.
That damn's bad?
Yes, it's a cuss word. It's an
Damn?
expletive.
No, it's not.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think damn's bad.
Yes, it is. I mean, I don't. It's a bad word.
It's about damn time. That's bad?
Oh, you could. There's a million songs with bad words in it.
But you've been saying shit a lot. And
They're one and the same. They're bad
I know,
words.
but I've been conditioned that when you hear a cuss word, you're supposed to immediately apologize when you're on a broadcast on
Then you
TV.
should apologize for saying the D
Every
word.
time you do it, I'm like, oop. So I'm like, look, we were allowed to say those things on the show, but like I noticed myself being like, ooh, Ben's getting spicy today.
Oh,
yeah,
you
go.
just cursed.
Also, 107 unread text messages. Can we talk about that? What? What is wrong with you?
So here's the thing. This is fair. This is very fair. It got past the point of no return. It got a little out of hand.
When?
Well, a long time ago at this point.
What? Why don't you just take a day, go through, delete, check, delete?
Because I don't want to. It doesn't bother me. It bothers you now. It bothers others.
Well, you know what? I can't really.
How many emails?
53,650.
Does it say that number on your phone?
It does 53,650.
Mine's okay. So my current, I don't know how this showed 100. Yeah, when I go to my mom's text, it shows 112. But if I go to my home screen, 441 unread text messages, 591 unread emails, and 31 missed calls.
The text messages, I don't understand. The emails I get because it's a bunch of junk that doesn't show up on my Gmail. Like it gets divided, so I don't see those. But on my phone, it's just.
Look, it got out of hand. It just got past the point of no return. And a lot of it is some of it is group text, where if I just go click it, like a big chunk of that will come away.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah. Wait, hold up. Before we move on.
Yeah.
You don't think the D word is a bad word?
No, I didn't know it was.
Yes, it's a bad word. What do you mean why? I don't know why bad words are bad words.
Like I was told like shut up was a bad word growing up.
No, yes, but no, damn's worse.
Why?
Alex,
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Shit is like referring to literal poop. I don't know why words
Damn's
are bad.
Damn, that like beavers build.
No, that's DAM. DAMN is a bad word.
DAYM. Damn. That's what I'm saying.
That is a bad word. And you said a bad word. And
What?
I'm no longer cussing because I will listen to my mom for at least the remainder of this episode.
Yeah, right.
But
just say sorry, Mama Verlander. We don't.
You need to apologize for this episode, not me.
I didn't know.
Let's move on.
You didn't know. All right. Let's move on to Team of the Week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good Team of the Week this week. One player from every position. Best player from each spot from the week that was. From, important note here, Sunday through Saturday. So the previous Sunday through this past Saturday is our time frame.
So this last Sunday is not added. Yesterday is not added,
Correct.
basically. Okay.
Correct.
Well, let's get started behind the plate with Wilson Contreras.
Wilson Contreras, Cardinals legend behind the plate, 438, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,400. Just a weird season for him. Weird season for the Cardinals, but like he was their big acquisition, and he's putting together a solid year after like all that drama that happened at the beginning of the year. But Wilson Contreras is my catcher.
All right, the man, the myth, the legend, the man of the week up at first base, Matt Olson.
Yeah, Matt Olson, 387, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, an OPS over 1,300, and those 4 homers does not include the homer that we just saw happen live here in front of us on the Sunday night game when he hit home run number 43 on the year. This does not include that. He still had 4 homers and 11 RBIs on the year. He leads Major League Baseball now with 43 homers, is over 100 RBIs. What a year he is having. Matt Olson, my first baseman.
Insane. All right, moving to second base. One of your faves, Jose Altuve.
This one's pretty simple. Jose Altuve hit 560 on the week. 560. With a homer, 6 RBIs, and an OPS of 1,445. Jose Altuve, my second baseman.
And we got Hayes over at third base.
Brian Hayes, fantastic week. I'm rooting for him in his career. I love him. I love watching him. I love watching the way he plays. He is, when you have the conversation for best defensive third baseman in the game, everybody points to Matt Chapman and Nolan Arenado fairly and understandably, but Brian Hayes might be the best of the bunch there, and he's healthy now, and he had 381 on the week with 3 homers, 10 RBIs, an OPS of almost 1,400. He's been on a tear for a little while now, and I am excited next year for a left side of the infield of Brian Hayes and O'Neal Cruz at shortstop and third base. That'll be great.
All right, speaking of shortstop, this week's is Trey Turner.
Trey Turner.
It's about damn time.
How about it? Another cuss word. Apologize to my mom.
Sorry, Mama Verlander.
481, a homer, 5 RBIs, and an OPS of 1,300 on the week. You can point to the day that the Philly crowd gave him a standing ovation when he was hitting 235 on the year and was really, really, really struggling. And that day he got a big hit. The next day he had a huge home run. And ever since then, he has been on a tear. Shout out Trey Turner. Shout out the Philly crowd for being some of the best fans in the world. This is a really cool situation. And Trey Turner, Captain America, as he became during the World Baseball Classic, is one of the most fun and exciting and electric players in the game of baseball. And it had just been a very unfortunate and frustrating year for a player that is definitely one of the best players in the game. And look, the Phillies are one of the best teams in baseball this year. They have the disadvantage of they're absolutely going to be a wild card team because the Braves are going to win that division. But they have like the 3rd best record in the National League at this point. They're going to be a playoff team. Who cares what Trey Turner has done all year long if he helps you in the playoffs?
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely. He's my shortstop.
Let's move to the outfield. Now, remember, these are just 3 outfielders, not by position. Let's get started with Kerry Carpenter.
Kerry Carpenter, Detroit Tigers legend, baby. What a week. 481, 4 homers, 6 RBIs, and an OPS of 1,480 on the week. Maybe a little more underrated name in the game of baseball, but he's been really good for that Tigers offense for a little while now, and a great, great week. He is my first of 3 outfielders, Kerry Carpenter.
Second, Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on this for multiple times in the last few months, I feel like. 455 in the last week. This is just in the last week. But in the last month, he's hitting over 400.
Yeah.
455 on the week, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, an OPS of 1,300 on the week. You know, Cody Bellinger has become a completely different hitter than MVP Cody Bellinger. You know, he's having a lot more success, and he's a lot closer to that Cody Bellinger than we saw when he was really struggling. But he's a really different hitter now, like a high average guy, really cut down on his strikeouts, putting a lot of balls in play. And he is still figuring out the power numbers over the last month or so have started to jump up a little bit. But man, a complete resurgence. Good for Cody Bellinger. Awesome to see what he's doing this year.
Rounding out the outfield, the most underrated player in the game, according to Ben Verlander, Kyle Tucker.
Yep, he was on Team of the Month. He's now on first Team of the Week this month. 304, 3 homers, 11 RBIs on the week, and an OPS over 1,100. Yes, the most underrated player in the game of baseball is Kyle Tucker. He's in the MVP conversation. There's not really much of a conversation in the American League, but he's going to finish, I think, top 3 in that MVP voting this year. He's been fantastic.
Now moving to designated hitter, Nick Castellanos.
Another guy I love. I love Nick Castellanos. 400 on the week, 4 homers, 8 RBIs, an OPS over 1,200. Really good first half, all-star. The start of the second half, really, really, really struggled, and he's back. That's baseball, right? There's 162. Are you going to be great over 162? No, really, nobody is. You go through a stretch, and the good ones, the great ones, figure out how to minimize that stretch. And Nick went through a little rough patch, and he is back to doing what Nick Castellanos does. And 4 homers on the week. Good stuff. He's my DH.
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Let's move to your starting pitcher. Oh, I didn't even realize I did it. That's how my puns happen.
Just in
Either
the nick
unintentional.
of time, yes.
Unintentional.
Yeah.
All right. Starting pitcher, Pablo Lopez.
Friend of the pod, Pablo Lopez. A lot of friend of the pods here. Pablo Lopez, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Tucker, Jose Altuve. Yeah, good stuff. Pablo Lopez had 2 starts on the week, went 2-0, 15 strikeouts, 13 innings pitched, and didn't give up a run. 2 starts. He was almost perfect in those. A 188 batting average against. Shout out Pablo Lopez. He is my starting pitcher.
Closing pitcher, Adbert Alzolay.
Yes, quickly becoming one of the better closers in the game of baseball for one of the most exciting teams right now. Adbert Alzolay, 4 strikeouts and 3 saves on the week. Not a single earned run given up. Perfect in his save opportunities. Baseball's fun in Wrigleyville right now. It's been a blast. So that is my team of the week, which, Alex, leads to both of our players of the week. I actually do not know yours, but mine is Jose Altuve, who hit well over 500 on the week, hit a homer, 6 RBIs. I mean, look, if you're hitting over 500 on a week, if you're hitting anywhere close to 500 on a week, yes, the power numbers weren't through the roof for him. He still did hit a homer on the week, but man, what I can't imagine. And it wasn't like he was playing every day.
Yep.
And over 20 at bats. It was a fantastic week for Jose Altuve. He is my player of the week.
My player of the week was close to hitting 500 on the week, but I'm just so happy for him right now and the turnaround he's had on his season. Trey Turner is my player of the week, batting .481, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and just... You mentioned it when we were going through the teams. The moment that Phillies crowd gave him a standing O, he just completely turned his season around. And you can tell the confidence, the power, everything. It finally feels like it's all coming together for him, hopefully just in time for that playoff push and playoff run that Phillies are going to make, because we were there for playoff baseball in Philly, and it is a magical thing to witness. So I'm just happy for Trey Turner.
Yep. Just in the tray of time.
Just in the tray of time.
No, doesn't work as much. Yes. So that is our team of the week and players of the week. All right. It is Monday, which means every Monday, the new and improved power rankings. And it just finished up. The Mets beat the Braves. So surely the Mets are going to be at the top of the power rankings now, because that's, according to everybody on social media, well, my team beat this team, so how's that team higher than my team? Look, you know, the A's swept the Braves early in the... Are the A's going to be number 1? Well, maybe. We'll see when we get there. Let's start at number 10 this week in my power rankings. Alex, new team here.
Yeah.
I said during
hot on them.
Hot on them? Yeah, I'm big on them. Mm-hmm. I also said last week that I regret not putting them in my top 10 last week. The Seattle Mariners. They are here. They were not ranked last week, haven't been for a little while. They are 63 and 53 and have made quite the playoff push and gotten themselves in contention. They are sitting just on the outside of a playoff spot right now behind the Toronto Blue Jays, but the Mariners are at number 10.
At number 9, holding strong this week, the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies are one of the best teams in the National League. We're just not talking about them enough because the Braves are going to win that division, meaning the Phillies will end up with a wild card spot. But the Phillies have the 3rd best record in all of the National League.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good. They are 65 and 54, team at number 9 for me this week.
Number 8, also holding strong, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yep. Rays just chilling right here. They're 71 and 49. The Rays, I gave them a big bump down a few weeks ago. And they've just been kind of floating right there ever since. They haven't done enough to get moved back up for me. They're not playing like one of the best teams. They're not playing like a top, they're not playing like what their record would state they are. They're currently on top of the AL wildcard race. But over the last few months, it's just been about 500 and mediocre baseball. They're a good, not great team right now. That's why I have them down here at number 8.
Number 7, also same as last week, the Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubbies been playing great baseball for really since the All-Star break. They're 61 and 57. They're fighting for that NL wildcard spot. They're right on the... I think if the season were to end today, they are either right... I think they're in a wild card spot, just on the outside of it. They're within a half game one way or another. But the Cubbies are a blast right now. They're at number 7.
And they took the series against the team at number 6 this weekend, the Blue Jays.
Which brings back my argument from the beginning. Well, my team beat that team, but this team Did you beat that team? Okay, number 6, the Blue Jays, 66 and 54. They are in that very tight race with the Mariners, and that the AL wildcard race is going to be quite the finish. Blue Jays are playing good baseball. The offense kind of woke up over the weekend, and they had that series against the Guardians where they just weren't putting up any runs. But good weekend series, 66 and 54. I'll go Blue Jays at number 6.
Moving into your top 5, at number 5, down 1 spot, the Astros.
Yeah, Astros got bumped down 1. This will all make sense in a little while, but 68 and 51. Beat the Angels in that weekend series. Couldn't quite complete the sweep on Sunday.
Yeah.
The offense struggled a little bit there, so they end up losing on Sunday. Astros, very good. They are in my top 5 at number 5.
Number 4, the team just above the Astros in the AL West as well, but down 1 spot in your rankings, the Rangers.
This is another big one that everybody likes to comment about because the Rangers really, really struggle against the Astros. I mean, the Astros dominate them in that head-to-head series. However, at a certain point, you got to look at the season as a whole. They are 70 and 48. They are on top of the AL West, and they are not slowing down. They went out and they added at the trade deadline. They've been fantastic since the trade deadline. Rangers, number 4.
Talk about being fantastic at the trade deadline. Team number 3 has won 8 games in a row, only lost 1 game since the deadline. The Dodgers are at number 2, up 2 spots.
At number 3, up 2 spots.
Sorry.
They were, 5 last week? I guess that's how math works, right? Up 2 spots from 5.
Math is hard.
Math is hard.
Thank you.
They are 70.
I think because I wanted them at 2.
No, I was struggling. I was not mathing. And Alec, the Dodgers are number 1, Ben, right? No, Dodgers are here at number 3. They're 71 and 46, and they are really, really firing on all cylinders right now. The acquisitions they did make weren't the sexy, big acquisitions at the trade deadline, but they've certainly proven to be very helpful. Lance Lynn, eating some big innings for them. He's been really good. Ryan Yarbrough eating some big innings as well, and that bullpen came in and was really good for them. Just everywhere you look, besides don't look too hard at the bullpen, but everywhere else you look, offense, top-notch. Starters have been really good lately, so Dodgers got a good little bump up to number 3.
Number 2, holding strong, the Orioles.
Yep. Orioles are 73 and 45, or if you ask their broadcasters, they are 180 and 0 this year, but they are still at number 2. Or the ownership, I should say. Okay. That's what you got to say.
Okay.
The Orioles are the best team in the American League, and I said it last week. I think they grabbed the number 1 seed in the American League this year. I would have loved to see them do more pitching-wise at the deadline, but they did not. They added Jack Flaherty, who has been pretty good for them so far. Really good in his first start. The Orioles rake, absolutely rake, and they are number 2 for me.
And at number 1, the best team in baseball right now, the Atlanta Braves.
Yep, the Braves are the best team in baseball. They're 75 and 42, 1 through 9. There's nobody better. I mean, what they just did to the Mets in that doubleheader on Saturday. I know they just lost on Sunday, but they had a doubleheader against the Mets where they combined won the doubleheader 27-3.
Wow.
Their offense is just relentless. It does not stop. Right now, the only way you can beat the Braves, and they did go on they weren't great from the All-Star game on for a little bit, but it feels like they're back now. Unless you're scoring 8 runs against the Braves, it feels like you're gonna lose. And they're just, to me, they are the clear and obvious best team in baseball right now.
Yeah, they are.
And that rounds out this week's top 10. Mariners, Phillies, Rays, Cubs, Blue Jays, Astros, Rangers, Dodgers, Orioles, and the Braves round out this week's new top 10 Major League Baseball Power Rankings. And that wraps up our show, Alec.
Now, before we go, we've all been heartbroken and devastated seeing the absolute devastation from the wildfires in Maui. And one of the ways that you can help is donating to the Red Cross. You can donate at redcross.org/FoxForward. And these donations will help the Red Cross prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this unimaginable disaster.
Absolutely. Very well said. And thank you all for listening to this Monday episode of Flippin Bats. Make sure you like, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. We're also on all social media, including YouTube, at Flippin Bats Pod. for all of them. We got to wrap this one up because Alex's language has just gotten too bad up here.
Well,
and
I still don't think
I don't trust what she's going to say. That does it.
Is damn or shit
We're done. This is outrageous.
I don't think damn is a
Until
bad
tomorrow,
word.
my
It's
friends.
not a bad word.
Peace.
Yeah.